Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. You will be in the mountains. Do not be afraid. And in the mountains means in the world. Do not be afraid. And in the world means do not be afraid. It means in the dark. Do not be afraid. The world, it is dark. Do not be afraid. The world is a black mountain looming. Do not be afraid. Some sounds in the night. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. It is dark upon darkness. Do not be afraid. And you feel around slowly. Do not be afraid. Some sounds in the night. Do not be afraid. You will be in the world by not being afraid, by being able to go, by noticing mountains and the slope from them to you. Do not be afraid. Let yourself be in the world. Do not be afraid. By letting things touch. Do not be afraid. By being able to go. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. The youth that we are losing. Do not be afraid. It does have hefty meaning. It's like ripening dawn. Do not be afraid. Or descending evening. Do not be afraid. Because as we are dying, do not be afraid. So dies each day. Do not be afraid. And entering evenings, we become gray. Do not be afraid of aging and growing. Do not be afraid of entering disasters. Do not be afraid of living unknown. Do not be afraid. The whipping wind that's sure to blow will soon take over. And we will be whipped at first, but then we'll be inflated. Then from those heights we'll see that nothing lasts as we descend to the summit where we'll live among the howling wolves, the wild nights, the feast of life and hard renunciation. And like more food will grow in fields of rotting bodies. In winter our bodies will grow a thicker coat of fur. And we can hang out on the porch without having to wear wolves. If we let weather win us, if we let the neighbors fall away, if our eyes reflect distance, if we learn to live long days, the world will lay down. With us in it. Send them off. I send them off. and paws. I send them off in hooves and open claws. I send them off in all branches reaching broad. I send them off. I send them to end my reaching out. I send them off to end wanting what walks through town. I send them off so I will not hear that enticing sound of approaching voices. I send them off. I hope to not want, and for hope to not haunt. I want no one never, I want nothing nowhere. I send them off. This song is called The Intimacy. The only reason I'm so moved seeing clouds and hills mingle is because the intimacy of the world otherwise stays hidden. Even though I know it's there in animals calling, in the cave overflowing, in the food I've built on, in the song of the bat, in rotting bodies unfolding. I am touched each time I can see hand holding. Mist married to branches, married to me with my eyes, stopping my work for a moment to say, what a generous place is unveiling here. And thank you, we have enough. If you can manage to give totally up, to go limp, to go tender,
surrender.
Your body will hold together. I know it seems like you'd be torn apart, be ripped up and rendered. But don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Don't believe them when they say that you have to fight for what is right, or what you think is right. You don't, 'cause if you manage to give totally up, you're sprawled out in splendor. Just try to fight that, raise your arms, feel your muscles slosh around your whirlpool center. If you can manage to give totally up, to be known as the great befriender or sender, your loss, your endless loss, will treat you to treasures. La 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 la. This one is called Dark Foundation. If you lean into the shadow and fall asleep with your head to the east and your feet to the last of the light as it is dying, coming day will pat your head while your feet are still behind curtains, and you will wake up like this with a dark foundation. And if you go slow enough, go through the day with shadowy legs, you will know that this is how the world is. You will be standing on its dark foundation. Having washed my face in a frozen stream, having lived in guest rooms for the last 7 years, and having just doubled in size, admitting animal loving, I still must find a way. How
do I live with the romance
of the world?
How do I live with the romance
Of comfort and closed eyes?
How do I live with the romance
The lure of scenery?
How do I live with
the romance and admit that this might be the world where I belong? I'll sing my song in the parking lot. We would not be so afraid of losing hair and slowing down if we knew that our little hearts are not aging. Our little hearts are born already ancient. It would not be so tough to say I do and settle down if we knew that our little hearts never come dating. They stay at home for us patiently waiting. We would not be so scared of eating love and lying down if we knew that mountains would be unveiling. We would not be so stubborn being swallowed by the ground if we knew that greater bodies still were waiting. Dotted lines in the air tomorrow morning. At the end of our lives, instead of climbing, we have to go through the mountain. Yeah, like haikus. When I walk out of the museum, the smell of placenta, the broken water, and the snarl of the sky This song is called The Song of the Bat. As the blackbird above you disappears into the night,
and the song of the bat,
the cave beyond the foothills,
the bat,
in the night is overflowing,
and in the bat's mouth,
in song. In song. No flashlight means that there's another world, and it's inside this one. The moon is in the lake. No flashlight means the lake at night. At the cold bottom, there's no pool of light, no moon, no sky, no world. No flashlight means at the bottom of the lake, with opened eyes, in the mountains with no flashlight and no friends, knowing the world is in song, and being able to hush. Turning off the light is being welcomed home. Crawling in the dark, saying no flashlight, is saying yes. Everything else. This one is called I Belong in the World, and it starts like this. I belong in the world. If you think that the wild world is a place that you have to open doors to see, then tear up the floorboards. Make a fire in your bed. Put an arm through a window. See the sky through your charred ceiling. And try and say it again. I belong in the world. No, you don't. If you think that the blackbird above you will disappear into the night, then sit and wait, and soon black night will come, and you will find yourself grow invisible. You will disappear into the night, and you will be there, and then try to say it again. I belong in the world.
I belong.
No, you don't. If you think that going camping will undo a long life of slow dying, then go ahead and go camping. Try to forget. Try to forget in the desert. Try to forget on the hill. Try to forget. You will not, and you can't. Try and say it again. I belong in the world. If you think the howling wolves that live just outside the city gates will keep you from tasting the permanent snow that forever waits on the distant peak taunting, then you hold yourself hostage, and your own dogs will bite you, and the wolves will lick your wounds. If you let them, the wolves will raise you. The wolves will raise you. The wolves will raise you. The wolves will raise you to the summit where you will live and taste and say, let's get out of the world. Let's get out of the world. Let's get out of the romance. Let's get out of the world. Let's get out of the romance. 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 Let's get out of, because all the sweetness in the world just looks gross in that disguise. Let's get out of the world.
Let's get out of the
world.
Let's get out
and
of
all the sweetness in the world just looks gross in that disguise.
Let's get out of
And people in the most beautiful places always do the most drugs and watch the most TV.
Let's get out of
Bands that constantly practice always play the worst shows and fear the most mistakes. Let's get out of the world. This one is called I Wail, and I wrote it on a tram in Amsterdam 2 years ago, on my way to my last VPRO session. It's about whaling, killing whales. So I set out on the sea with a little food for me and a sharp harpoon for the whale that I'm hunting. The fine women on the shore, they called out,
give us more.
but I have nothing to give as if I did before. Before my house burned down last night and I killed my friends in a fight. And so like I said, I paddled out in morning light to see if I could see a shape come from the deep, or if I could hear its song of love at night taunt me. Though I know I'm getting some, my fingers are getting numb. I sit and toss, and the cold waves wash over me. And I've been out here for 60 days, and there's no sign of spout or spray. Now the cold dark night falls down in the flat black sea, and in the calm I close my eyes. I lean back and rock from side to side. I'm placid, I have gone starry skies. With half-closed eyes, but with a thump-thump beneath my boat, watch the water rise. And storms rage and my skiff crumbles in the whale beneath a sails and humbles and says, knock knock from beneath. Hey Phil, it's me, I'm your heart, I'm a whale on the bottom of the deep black sea. My mouth is wide and toothy. One more. It's called Stop Singing, appropriately. Possibility that if I stopped clapping my hands in the void, I would notice that I can't hold on to things. And the possibility that if I stopped using my voice, I would notice songs that all around me sing. Looms and weather lives buried in my days, with all my songs and rhythms going, like the darkness surrounding a flame. It's what I don't say with my mouth, it's my mouth open to breathe in, it's open windows. Still, I go on and on, describing the shape around the thing I want to, but cannot name. In song, and though my long life feels busy and full of usefulness and drive, I will sleep through every single dawn, and those I see I will not comprehend, though I try. I will sing through every single song about the spaces left when we stop singing, and I will sing this with longing. There's no way you will get out of it. And in this way the universe is shown. Doesn't matter, the universe is shown. plans for the night. You are done, the universe is shown. But my life is long and good. And from now on you must fulfill the pregnant night. The universe is shown in song. This song's called The Air in the Morning. The air in the morning, and the way that Halloween is always approaching. It will enter the room and will find my cheek and will wake me up roaring. The air in the morning, with the rains come Halloween, and with the night comes the air in the morning. My costume will be myself, with the night on my face. So I stand in the rain and the dark with the world unfolding. The air